be a man, what does it mean? It means being alive. It means having a vision, being on a mission.
To be a man is to be responsible of your own act. You know, I think that growing up as a boy, you tend to be just naive and just go by your life. But once you become a man, you have to be accountable of everything you do.
A picture in my mind of like a tall, big, like man, like a boy, that's just strong. That's the picture in my head. That's what I think.
For me, it means being a black man means being clothed in an armor of Teflon, right? It's an emotional armor integral to our core being in terms of how we operate, how we go through life, how we make it through. It's almost like survival mode that you need to be conditioned like this because we're going to face racism, we're going to face discrimination, we're going to face prejudice going through life, and it's important to be able to withstand some of that.
Being vulnerable to me means getting past that, that emotional barrier you may have. And it's like, okay, I guess we're gonna talk about the things you don't want to talk with. And I guess it's letting go of that ego and kind of being honest with yourself.
I'm not sure. I think that being vulnerable can come from many different aspects in life. At times I'm vulnerable and I cry. My children have seen me cry. But I always cry to my Lord because I feel that only He can help me.
I'm comfortable with myself being emotional. I don't think I'm that emotional. When you get older, you realize sometimes you go through stuff in life when you're so young. Kids in high school, go to school, curse the teacher out, go to school, get into it with a lot of people. And most of the time it's because different stuff at home going on, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't got a father, or it's like they really angry because of reason, but they don't know how to express themselves, being emotional about it. So, but I am emotional as well. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm starting to learn that as the older I got.
Vulnerable looks like sharing certain stuff that you don't normally share, some stuff that you normally like to bottle up, but it's usually just speaking up and having the courage to say anything, like whether how you're feeling, your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health. It could be different types of stuff.
For me, I don't know. I don't even understand the concept of vulnerable because people say if you share your emotions, you're being vulnerable. But for me, that's just sharing emotions.
We all go through different experiences. And the toughest thing to do is to try to go through it alone. So vulnerability is in finding a way to share your experiences.
How comfortable I am with my emotion and vulnerability. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm comfortable, but like...
I'm very comfortable. I'm honest to myself, and I trust myself.
Not all the time. If I think that I'm in tune with my emotions, not all the time. As a human being, sometimes I lose it, man. I am not in control, not in tune. But to be in control is not what you're asking. If I'm in tune, yes, I think that I'm very much in tune with my emotions because I listen to what I feel.
I didn't live with my mom in high school, so at 13 years old, I went to stay with somebody, 13 turned 14, so I had to grow up early. So I know what that phrases mean, you know what I'm saying? I had to mature a lot, so.
I don't always consider myself an emotionally available person. I try my best to correct that narrative within myself, but when you experience a lifetime of conditioning that suggests that you should not be like that, and you go into survival mode, it often manifests itself in relationships in particular.
I think being emotionally available, it's not actually only when it comes to romance. I think being able to have wearing your emotions on your sleeve so that you may understand other people as well, whether they're going through, just life or a difficult time.
I do consider myself an emotional available person. to the point where like I can just express how I feel and hear what somebody else is feeling like. But I think that it's definitely something that is hard for people to do. And I think that we should do it definitely a lot more.
Do you think it's okay for men to cry?
Yeah, I think so, because everybody has that emotion. And when something comes up, you might feel like it.
Seeing a man cry, it breaks that image in a sense. So it's not encouraged for men to be crying, especially in front of women. Like, it's, you know, you don't want to be crying in front of your woman. Like, it's.
I would say if nature didn't want you to have emotions, you would not have emotions. So it's a part of nature.
Just because you're emotional don't mean you're not tough, you're sweet. I know some sweet steppers, you know what I'm saying? Like, emotional, crying over their girl, you know what I'm saying? Get emotional, call you like, dog. One thing about a woman, they get to a man, you feel me? So, like, it's crazy, but still go outside and, like, nobody gonna play with them, like, real certified. You know what I'm saying?
Does society leave black men be emotional? Bro, society doesn't even leave black men be in general in this space. So I feel like there's a lot of like social construct that are not kind of tailored to our advantage. So we never have the opportunity to be vulnerable, to even understand what being vulnerable means.
I think the most important element of a willingness to share your vulnerability would be a secure place where there's no criticism or no critique about what you're speaking of.
Probably never. Emotions with other men, I don't think we really talk about it. Yeah, I have a couple good friends. I guess those things do come up in conversation sometimes.
I have emotional conversation pretty much every day. You know, like I'm a barber and my job is not only to make people look good, but feel good. So like we talk about everything that's been going on. So that's never been something that I have a hard time doing.
I think, you know, as men, we don't necessarily express your emotions like verbally. I think it's done via our interaction with each other, whether, you know, playing sports or the activities that we do together. That's how we express our bond and our emotions. Men are not communicative in the word in that sense, you know. Women like to talk about their emotions, but men, we don't necessarily do that.
Why do I think sometimes it's hard? Because if we're seeking, then we have to tell the truth and nothing else but the truth. Sometimes it's not easy to tell the truth. But if you want to have accurate feedback, you have to tell the truth. And sometimes it's hard.
So that definition of a man, I can't give you. But what I can tell you is that it's an experience. And that experience is it's a long one. And it's one of finding.